Hey everybody, welcome back to Breakfast with Bob. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're here at Clash Endurance Miami, a gentleman who finished 10th here last year, Mr. Andi Dreitz. How you doing, Andy?
Good, yeah.
Always so good to see you, man.
It's great to see you and great to be back on track.
Yes.
Sunshine and a lot of heat.
I bet you're one of those guys who was going, because you love to race, and not being able to race during COVID time must have been so hard for you.
Yeah, well, we missed a lot of opportunities, but especially here and with some new race formats, it got more interesting.
Yes.
And now the new season is starting.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You're always one of those glass half full type of guy. You're always positive and upbeat.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, I'm hungry and I love to race, to go out and to see what I'm capable of.
Right.
And that's a next chance to prove myself and also to review my fitness and also think about what I have to do in the next weeks.
So when you look at when we sort of left off racing back in 2019, we had Jan Frodeno at the top, and then since then we've got Christian Blumenfeld coming in, and we've got Gustav Iden, and you got all these ITU racers coming in. How has that changed the way you prepare for the season? Or does it?
Well, of course, the speed is going up.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
And there's so many, also some young guys coming up and starting in the sport with new standards and setting the level very high.
Yes.
So for now, I think we are in a transition that the sport is changing, and also the older generation, everybody is still here because
nobody's leaving.
Is leaving now, and also the older guys don't seem to slow down.
No,
not at all. So the sport is still changing, and also with those race formats coming up here in Miami with shortened bike and run.
Right.
It makes it even more interesting for a mix of short distance athletes to long and half distance athletes.
I think a lot of people look at the racetrack, they see Daytona and they see Homestead, and they think, oh, they're the same thing. That Daytona, you're riding a racetrack. But this race is really different because it has the road course element.
I think you cannot compare those two races.
Totally different, right?
Just like this.
Yeah.
It's definitely different, yeah. And also, well, Miami and Daytona seem to be very close, but also I feel the humidity and the weather is still very different here.
Totally different. Yeah, December and March, totally different.
Also, yeah, but I think also these little distance is enough to make it a difference in weather-wise.
Yes.
And also, well, the course is a little bit different, and also the athletes. It's also who shows up, who is setting up the pace.
Right.
And also, just now, just a few minutes ago, I also read about some bonus on the course for the first laps.
Oh, so they're putting a bonus out there to go fast early.
Yeah.
Which you'll go for. Maybe.
I see. Well, obviously not for the swim. That's not my strength. Maybe for the bike, but also you need to play your card smart and don't attack too early and don't smash yourself at the beginning.
To run.
Yeah.
It's funny because when you're used to doing Ironman races and you see you see a shorter run, the tendency is to sort of forget how much faster you're going to be running for that shorter distance.
Definitely, yeah. I think it's nobody really knows how to pace on this kind of distance. So only a few athletes had a couple of races on this distance and this format. So we still need to try to find out what is best.
It's sort of a good time for the sport with challenge races, with the clash races on the racetrack, and another race that's going to be really good for you is that Watkins Glen one that's going to be in New York, because I think you swim and then you climb I think it's like a couple mile climb to the track.
Oh, is it?
And then
oh, wow.
when you get on the track, there's a road course with hills in it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That might be interesting.
Exactly. I think that one, Watkins Glen,
cool.
is something that could be appealing to you. Do you see this year, will you be at St. George for the full in May?
Yes, that's the main goal for
Right.
now, the World Championship in St. George on
Yes.
May 7th.
Yes.
And after that, I need to reorganize and see which races are on the schedule
Right.
and where I want to go with a big goal, Kona.
Of course. Big call. And then, but you still, St. George could qualify you for Kona, or you're to qualify.
Yes, there are 8 slots,
Yes.
so it's a realistic chance to get one of them.
Absolutely.
And let's try to get one of these.
So when you look at your biggest win, is it Challenge Roth? Because that was sort of in your backyard?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, 2019 was my best year performance-wise, and also in results with the victory in Challenge Roth.
Yes.
So yeah, winning on home soil, that's
Nothing better.
nothing better. And also, I grew up with the race. I was standing next to it
Did you come out and watch that race as a kid?
Yeah, many times.
Who do you remember watching? Lothar Lieder or some of those guys? Or they were way back? This must be earlier. Yeah, no.
Yeah, Dirk Bockel, Timo Pracht.
Yep.
And yeah, also the newer generation, also Niels Fromhold
Yes.
with his victory. And so many other guys, and also the girls. They
Yes.
usually have a strong women's field
Always.
there. So it's just great to see all this passion and the emotions, and to look those athletes into their eyes. Then you can see the power.
I don't think there's another race in the world like Challenge Roth. You've raced a lot. You've been to a lot of races.
I don't remember any, and some are getting. No, you cannot compare it. No, not at all.
What I love about Roth is every race has something distinctive. But what's great about Roth is the swim is distinctive, the bike with the 50,000 people on Solar Hill, the run with the beer mile, and the finishing in the stadium. Every single part of that race is very unique to that race.
Definitely, yeah. And I think the main difference are the people who live there and make this race special.
Yeah, because it's not like people are staying in hotels. There's no hotels, right? You're camping, you're staying with friends. When there's 250,000 people watching the race, they're figuring out how to get around. Look at, I'm making you sweat, see?
Oh yeah, the heat is
We're trying to get you ready for race day. The emotion, because of Challenge Roth, I'm bringing back this great emotion. Coming into that stadium, knowing that you had won it, is there a better feeling in the world?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But I want to
do it again.
To experience it one more time at least.
Exactly. Yeah. So next year, hopefully in October, you'll be back at Kona.
Yeah.
And you've only been able to do that once because you crashed at Nice was that 19 then?
19,
you crashed in 19,
yeah,
so then you
Worlds.
couldn't start Kona, or you dropped out? You
I
probably
had to
shouldn't
drop.
have started.
I dropped out on the bike. Had some other issues also, but
Yes.
it was
Your
too
body
close.
was still messed up after
yeah.
crashing. So that race, obviously, what did you learn from finishing it the first time?
I learned that there can be also some years without wind.
Yes, it was, right?
And all
the year
people tell,
yeah.
the wind is picking up towards the end, or at least at halfway, the wind is picking up.
Never
and then
picked up.
We had a year with no wind, so.
Which doesn't help you. You want wind.
No, I was waiting for the wind.
Of course you were.
But it is what it is, and everybody needs to make his own experience in Kona,
Right.
and that's why it is so hard and also so tough, because so many great athletes are preparing for it, want to do it all, and then also you have one shot, either you do it or you make the mistake again, and then you rethink, you want to avoid these mistakes the next time and try to do it better.
Yes. This race draws people from ITU racing, from people from 70.3 racing, from Ironman racing. Do you like that mix of athletes? Because there are probably some athletes here you've never raced before.
Definitely, yeah. There are new guys coming up, and especially the ITU guys can make it very fast. But also for them, it can be very challenging to hold on the time trial position for such a long time.
Yep.
So it's a great mix, and it can be, or it's for both. It's doable for both.
Right.
And then this one can be the best. Is okay to find the best athlete.
Right. After this race, do you just focus then on St. George? Do you go back home, or do you stay in the States? What do you do?
I thought about staying in the US.
Too long.
But that's a long time.
Yeah, you're staying from March until May.
So I will fly back home
Uh-huh.
and probably come back for 70.3 Oceanside.
You're gonna be here for Oceanside, my backyard.
I love that race. Yeah, that's
very cool.
Wow, that's one of the best 70.3 races on the courses on the circuit.
Because like Roth, at the swim you go into the ocean, right? You swim in the ocean first and then come into the harbor.
Yeah.
Then the bike ride has a lot of good climbing in the back part of Camp Pendleton. Then some headwind coming in. And that run is deceptive because you think, oh, it's fast. But there's some good climbs on that.
Definitely, yeah. And also the history in the lineup. It's always a very competitive field.
Yes.
Everybody wants to go there. And yeah, I also had some good experience there already.
Have you won that race?
I did not won it, but I was leading very, very long time until kilometer 18, I think. Back in 2016 when Lionel Sanders catched me then.
You. That's very cool. Well, that's pretty fun having a race like that. Yeah. Would you rather have a race like that that's close than being off the front and winning?
Definitely a close race.
A close race is always better, but you want to win it.
I try to make a gap and to have a huge lead and run it home very controlled. But on the other side, the close ones are much more memorable.
Yes, you remember those forever because
these are the epic
battles,
races,
right? The running and the cycling and the swimming. It really comes down to will, right? It comes down to what's in your heart at that point. Love it. Hey, have a great race on Friday. Sorry to make you sweat so much, man. You lost like 10 pounds during this interview.
Well, that's not too bad. I'm still too heavy.
Andi Dreitz has been our guest. Again, Breakfast with Bob, and we will be right